Welcome back to another episode of the Becoming Podcast built from failure with your host, Rogelio Diaz. Today, we are going to be going in on a topic that every entrepreneur, every coach, every content creator struggles with, and that's trusting the process. It ain't easy. It's not simple, or maybe it is. You let me know by the end of this episode. But what I titled today's episode is Why Trusting the Process Feels Like It's Ruining Your Life. And I called it that because it does. It feels like everything is breaking down. It feels like you don't even know who you are. You feel lost, bro, right? All your negativity, all these emotions about how you feel about yourself, they come in and the fear takes over. But see, and that's what people don't really talk about. Like in those times, bro, that's what it looks like, right? Like it's not once you make it, it's not once you get to a certain level in your life that you can start trusting it, right? Like, oh, I got what I wanted. I can trust the process now. No, it's like in those dark times, those dark nights, in those points of your life where you feel like you're drowning, right? You feel like everything you want is being taken away or stripped away, and it feels so far, right? That's what we're really going to be going into today. Like it's different. This kind of trusting the process that I've experienced, that I share with my clients, is very different than your generic stuff that they usually find on YouTube, right? Trusting the process is one of the most frustrating things you'll ever hear, especially when your life feels like it's falling apart, right? Everyone says, trust the process, but no one really explains why it feels like everything is getting worse. It doesn't make any sense. There's no real logic to it, but you got to stay in it, bro, right? You got to stay in it because you're going to be feeling stuck, right? Things are not going to be working you would probably be doing everything right, but there will still be no results. And this is when a lot of the people that I've worked with, I've had my own periods of time where you're in this part of the process and you're questioning if it's for you because it hasn't hit yet, right? It hasn't worked out yet. You feel like your dream is slipping away. You feel like maybe it's not meant for you and you start to question it. And this is when the starting and the stopping starts. But it's a painful time, bro. It's a very painful time. And I love this quote, though, by David Goggins. He says, when the ending is unknown and the distance is unknown, that's when you find out who the F you are. And that couldn't be more true because in these times where it seems like nothing is working, there's failure after failure after failure, loss after loss after loss, and you're giving it your all and you're trying and you don't understand why it's not working and you're frustrated and you're angry and you're pissed off. And you really start to doubt your dream. And yeah, you might be like me and you have your parents in one ear or you have an authority figure in one ear and they're knocking, hey, why hasn't it worked yet? Like it's hard to trust in those times, right? When the physical manifestation, the physical part hasn't started to really come into fruition or isn't really there yet. This is when it's really hard, bro. But this is when you need to trust the most, right? When you need to trust yourself the most, because there could be so many people in your ear and, that they influence you. And maybe, I found you always have to come back home to you in these times and you have to create your life in your way and find your way because if not, other people's opinions are going to lead the way. And I'm not saying to never listen to anybody but this is a time where your heart speaks and your spirit leads and your higher self talks to you and you listen, man. You listen because if you don't, you're going to lose faith. There's this one quote from the song I like to listen to. It says, when the timing feels delayed and how does it go? Oh, yeah, no, when the timing feels delayed, keep walking through faith, right? I know a lot of you that watch me, you probably think you should already be somewhere and the timing feels delayed and it doesn't make any sense. You're giving it everything but I'm telling you, man, right now, I want you to sit with this. What if nothing is wrong and you're just in the part that no one warned you about? Right? This part right here, this painful, brutal part of the process that feels like it takes everything from you. And you have no idea how long it's going to last. You have no idea where you're really going to go, but it's a necessary part that molds you, that makes you dig into that inner strength, and makes you trust yourself, that makes you know exactly what you want out of life. What if, man? Right? Like, because most people think process is progress, right? And in reality, the process starts with disruption, right? Everything comes crumbling down. I lost my personal training studio. I thought it was the end of the world. I thought I was just going to work a 9 to 5 the rest of my life. my coaching business first came crashing down years ago, when I went through that loss, that, I moved to Sedona and I lost all my clients and I had nothing, bro. When I needed it the most, I, you know, I thought I was done. I thought, my version at that, maybe you relate to this, guys. My version at that point was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this decision to move to Chicago, and the universe has my back. I'm gonna be provided for. And it made me feel good saying all this stuff, right? And I really believed it, but you don't like, yeah, that's gonna come after the pain, bro. That's gonna come after the disruption, after everything comes collapsing and comes crashing down, because there's stuff you got to go through to get to the next level. And there's parts of you that have to be activated. There's parts that have to be created to be able to handle it, bro, to be able to handle that success, to be able to handle what's coming. And everything breaks down first. It doesn't build confidence at first either, right? Like it doesn't give you clarity immediately. What it really does is it exposes your patterns, right? It challenges your identity, which are all good things. It removes what's not aligned. I can't tell you how many friends I lost when I made this move. I had to break off a 5-year relationship when I moved out of Chicago. There was so much loss, but it was worth all the gain, right? Like everything that just wasn't there, bro. That wasn't meant to be there anymore. I had to go, right? Like your intuition it speaks to you, and this is why I just added this new. I don't know if you can tell, but it says you create your own opportunities. Like you really do, and this is a time where you do that for yourself, right? This is a time. You can't see this, but this is a time when you dream without fear. Right now, and have the uncertainty. Right? We crave so much certainty, and that's why it's hard to trust the process too. Like I don't care about certainty anymore, bro. I care about purpose. I care about knowing who I am and the life that I'm creating, and building things my way, right? Like you're told so much of your life who to be, and you're conditioned to be a part, this version of you, and you have to get to a point where you don't care about certainty. You don't care about pleasing others. Really care about pleasing yourself and what you want out of life and your dream, right? Like you have a chance, man. A lot of the people I work with, they they b- they they feel like they missed out. I remind them they have a chance. They can start right now. Your dream isn't slipping away. You can start anytime, bro. Anytime, right? But not to get too off topic, but this process doesn't build your life first. It breaks down the version of you that can't hold it. Right? You want more? The old you ain't gonna get you there, bro. There's changes they need to be had, and you have to have an honest conversation about yourself. Like, you got it in you or not? Because if you don't got it in you, accept it and be that. But if you know you got something in you, you got to go all in, right? And that's attached to your identity, bro. Like, it's no shame if you feel like you can't live your dream. If you feel like maybe, you know what, maybe you're done, and maybe it's a season that you're done right now, but you'll come back later. But you got to be honest with yourself, right? You can't live a lie in the sense of saying you really want this and you're just messing around. You got to be all in. So this is going to take everything. And man, my mom, before I left Chicago, and I was living with him, she would tell me it's gonna be hard out there, Roy. And I'm like, whatever, mom. you know, I'll figure it out. And I did. But damn, was she right that it was a lot harder than I thought it would be. Right. And there's a lot more stuff that I had to go through that I didn't even know I could handle. I didn't even know I was gonna go through. Damn, there were some tough nights. It's gonna be nights where you're crying on the floor, bro. And you're telling God, you're telling the creator, hey, I'm hurting, I'm in pain. Where are you? You're begging for help, you're begging for assistance, and nothing comes. And I'm telling you, man, those are the moments where you get back up, where you lift yourself up, you find out who you are. Because you're either gonna cower in those times, right? Or you're gonna tap in so deep to a part of you didn't even know was there. You're gonna get up and you're gonna try again, right? Like it's real, bro. It's real. And, I'll share another personal story. There was a time where, again, business was slowing down. Let's go a little more into what I was talking about earlier. Business was slowing down. Clients were dropping, right? Money was getting tight. Momentum was disappearing. I felt confused, man. I felt so much self-doubt. I was questioning everything. I gave up, bro. Like I literally excuse me, I actually gave up. I'm like, screw this. Why? Why am I going to keep putting myself in this position? Right. Like I was so frustrated and just so over it and overstimulated, and I was in survival, and I saw no point. I saw no point. I thought I was losing everything. This happened multiple times in my life, by the way. But what was really happening, guys, and you're probably going through this right now if you're watching this, we're all such a mirror. I was losing who I used to be. That old part of me, that old version of me. And maybe it sounds cliche, but it's true. Like I look at pictures from a year ago, I don't even recognize myself. Like, who is that kid? I'm proud of him, but there's just there's so much dissonance because I'm a whole other person. I bet you look at pictures from yourself, right? Even videos from a year, 2, 3 years ago, like it's different because you're not the same and you have to change. You have to want to change because it's easy to stay comfortable. It's easy to stay in your patterns and doing, I could be drinking half a bottle of Bombay right now every other day, like I was when I was 22, like easily. But you have to want more. You have to want to change, right? And if when you really get to the point of exhaustion where you can't live life another second the way that you've been living, you're going to change. And it's going to take a second to really make that decision. But if you're not there yet, maybe there's still more maturity that needs to take place, or maybe you got it too good. Maybe you got to burn the boat in a way, right? Maybe you have to put yourself in a position where your back's against the wall and you have to figure it out. And I've done that, and I did, and you can too, bro. Like how I've learned, what I've seen in my life, that's the one of the best ways you can do it, right? Burn the boats. My girlfriend Serena, she recently sold her car and she was so overdoing Amazon Flex. Oh my God, take advantage of people. So every employee there. But yeah, she was spending like $600 on her just car expenses every month, like 80% of her expenses. And she burned the boats, bro. She sold her car. No more car payment, no more insurance payment, no more gas. Now she really has a chance to live her dream, right? What she wants to do. She didn't give herself an option, right? She can't, even if she wanted to, she can't do Amazon Flex anymore. She doesn't have a freaking car. I have so much respect for that. I'm so proud of her for that. And that's what I mean. When I drove to Sedona, I burned the boats. I said, I ain't going back. There's no way. I can't go back to Chicago. What? So I can go back to doing the same shit. Telling you, bro, you're not. It feels like you're losing everything, right? Because Serena had a whole breakdown too, and now she feels inspired. She feels motivated. She knows she has so much more clarity on where she wants to go and what she wants to do, and she has a choice. She has more of a choice, but because she put herself in that position, she created her own opportunity with that, right? We all do that. We all do that. Also, when I realized that I was losing who I used to be, I also realized that the old habits weren't enough. The old mindset couldn't carry me to the next level. I had to change, right? All these old habits of drinking and partying and stuff like that, bro, it was just keeping me where I was at. It was keeping me where I was at. And I was taking responsibility away from myself. Responsibility that I knew I had to take on, but I've been avoiding. It might be relevant to what you're going through right now, right? Like I wasn't being punished. I was being rebuilt. And I had to do that. I had to make those choices. Nobody could make them for me. And that's the thing, It feels like you're going backwards sometimes too when you're going through this part of the process because awareness makes things feel worse. See your patterns now, feel resistance more deeply, right? Before you're probably unconscious to a lot of the stuff, but now you're waking up to it, man. Maybe you puff a little too much, you know. Now you're aware though, but it's just you're not stable yet. It takes time. It takes time. It's like everything takes time, man. And you're in your timeline too. Don't let anybody else put the time that they feel you should be successful. Don't ever let anybody put that on you. This is your dream, your time, your plan. Like it's gonna happen when your spirit knows it's time, bro. You can't rush this. Trust me. I've tried. I've tried. Excuse me. But because if you're trying to rush this, if you're asking yourself why hasn't it happened yet, if you're criticizing yourself, if you're basing where you're at based off other people's expectations, it's going to be a lot of frustration. It's going to be a lot of emotional swings, right? It's going to be a lot of inconsistency. This is your timeline, bro. Nobody else's. You can compare all you want. That ain't going to help, but you know, this is your life and your path, and your spirit always has your back. I used to say this a lot more, but your spirit always has your back. Like you're not going backwards. You're seeing clearly for the first time. I really hope this helped. We're going to finish up today's podcast. I hope you can see that trusting the process doesn't always look like what you've been hearing. In all reality, truth is, the process feels the worst right before it starts working. So if you're there right now, just remember that, bro. Like it's getting bad because it's about to get good. And it doesn't always feel like that, but just keep showing up, man. Just keep showing up. Trusting the process isn't about feeling good while it's happening. It's about staying long enough to become the person who can finally make it work. Stay in the game. Keep showing up. You have a chance, bro. Don't let it end here. Right? Don't let it end here. Go all in. Do what you have to do. Make the sacrifices. Sell your car. Do whatever you got to do, but give it everything. All right. And if you want help, if you want support, go ahead and view the description on the description box. I have a course called Courage Unleashed. It's going to help you heal what's in the way so you can finally start going all in on the work you love to do, on your dream. There's something internally that's blocking you, bro. Right? If you can handle that, you're going to have more inspiration. You're actually going to be able to go all out on your purpose, on what you came here to do, right? But it has to get handled. It has to get handled. Nothing, at the end of the day, nothing externally is getting in the way. It's you. It's you, bro. So handle it. Again, I'm here to help. I offer guidance. I walk you through my truth process in the course. It's a 5-step process that I created when I was in one of my lowest, darkest times, man. And it pulled me out. And I know it can pull you out as well. But if you want coaching, if you want mentoring, also check down below. I have a link for you to check there. And, we work one-on-one. We really go in deep, and I really understand where you're at, what you're going through. We'll have a session together, and I can help you get to where you want to be, right? I've been walking this path for 10 plus years, bro. I've been through some things. I know some things, and I would love to accelerate that process for you. If you're serious, if you're done waiting, go ahead. Let's work together. I'll see you in the next podcast episode. Until next time.